Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I am filming finally my October wrap up, fully aware that we are in the end of November. I don't know what happened and why I didn't film this sooner. It just like never fit in my schedule for some reason. I read 18 books in October. My goal was 20, but in the end of October I hadn't been reading as much as I should have throughout the month, so like I was super stressed and I decided to just move those to November. That became of course a result that I'm now super stressed in November, but for some reason that was better than being super stressed in October. Hopefully, since it's only 18 books, it won't take this long. Also, the daylight is literally disappearing and I'm just like trying to cram this in before because I need to film this today and I am screaming. So daylight, please stay. Me try to be quick. Luckily for me, 4 of these books I don't need to talk about in this video. So we have these 4 that I read for Gotta Think for Autumn. My Gotta Think for Autumn wrap up is up by now. So I, for that, read in October Carrie by Stephen King, Gallaglass by Scarlett Thomas, The Bronze Key by Cassandra Clare and Holly Black, and Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson. So those 4 I read for Gotta Think for season, or Gotta Think for Autumn in this case. So I have posted that wrap up now, so you can hear my thoughts in that video, since I don't cover them here because I don't like to wrap up books twice, so yay for that. So that is only 14 books we need to talk about, so let's do this. The first book I actually read in the month of October was The Ring Shout by P. Jelly Clark. This one I have a full review up on my channel because I got an arc of this from Nat Galley and I actually managed to post that video, so congrats to me. Now it's been a while, like it's almost been 2 months, but yeah, this one basically follows this group of people, we are back in the day, and they are fighting these monsters because humans turn into monsters because of this cult that white people has created. And it's just like awesome because main character has a sword and it's super cool. Don't remember the name right now, of course. It's very short, it's like 192 pages, but it was very, very cool, very impactful. Lots of different inspirations from our real life and also just like badass and cool. I use the word cool a lot, but it was just really cool. Okay, so I gave that one like 4 out of 5 stars, but since I'm really bad at reviewing books in general, in my wrap-ups and in my reviews, I think that it's better if you watch that full review because I think I covered it better there. So yay, that was my first read. I then read Spy Family Volume 2, and Spy Family follows basically this family. We follow, I was going to show you the characters, but they're usually on the cover, but now I got so confused. It follows this super master spy Twilight who needs to get a family to get this cover to basically go undercover for this thing because he's a spy. The wife he finds is an assassin. He does not know she's an assassin, and the kid they find is a telepath. So the kid knows that her parents are an assassin and a spy, but they don't know that she knows and they don't know about each other. So it is actually hilarious. It's one of the best things I've ever read, and I don't know if you can tell, but the sun is literally going down. Please stay. Like, I need like 20 minutes at least, come on. Not even like 3 o'clock, but this is life in the north. Either way, so I'm sorry for the lightning in this video. Oh my god, my dad is walking past my window. Hello, Dad. Why you do this to me? Like, why you judge me like this? But yeah, oh my god, this is like one of the most fun things I ever read. It's just hilarious scenarios of the kid now going to the school because at the school is one of the parents. It's the one that Twilight is gonna spy on. That's why she has to go to the school, and it's just her trying to fit in this one, and it's just hilarious and so good. But actually my favorite part of this was this short story that was like kind of not part of the main story, and it was just like with these penguins at this park, and it was actually the greatest thing I ever read. So this is just like a super fun thing, but clearly has like of course murder and stuff, it's assassins and stuff, but it's just so funny because they don't know about each other, and I'm so excited to see how it all plays out. It's low-key serious, but it's mostly just hilarious humor, so yay. I then read Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. This was the book pick of the month for Faes, which is a book club I am co-hosting, and our live show has already been. It's actually on my channel. I will leave it linked down below if you want to hear a full discussion on this book. Basically follows Adriel, who is trans, and he wants to be a brujo, which I know I can't pronounce, I'm really sorry. Well, the family don't look upon him as a guy, and they is usually like the one being badass and have like knives and stuff. I'm very bad at explaining this. So they're not accepting that he should be in this role, but he really wants to prove himself to them and show that he can be this, protecting the family, etc. So he does his tradition. Also, the whole family can also see ghosts, and he finds this one ghost called Julian, and it's just So fun. This was like the worst explanation you can ever hear of the synopsis of this book. Basically, his cousin goes missing and he thinks the ghost is his cousin, so that is why he tries to, sorry, looking at my dad, bring it back. But then it turns out to be, as I said, Julian, and they get this thing and he's actually a ghost, and it's so fun and cute and also just so important for representation from Latinx traditions and characters, and also, you know, main character being trans, and also the romance, and also just the fun adventure parts of it. It has so many good parts. I really enjoyed it. I think like my most let down was probably like the resolution of everything, but that is just like the inner me being a critic. It was a wonderful book and it was so hyped. I'm so glad that I enjoyed it so much, and it definitely deserved all the hype it has gotten. It was a really good pick for our book club, totally perfect. Will they and happily together? I think you have to read it to find out. The light is literally going. I am so sorry. I am screaming. Point is that it was really sweet. I think like I explained it really badly, but that is usually how I do in these wrap-ups. So yeah, I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, just because I never give 5 stars apparently to anything. Almost anything. I then read Demon Slayer Volume 2 by Koyohao Goto Uge, and this one is the second volume. I just said that. I am continuing this series. It basically follows Tanjiro, whose family gets killed by a demon, and then his sisters turn into one, and he's trying to turn it back into human. So he becomes a demon slayer because they know the most about demons, obviously, so thereby he will be more in contact with demons and trying to find out how to get her back. The sun is like, the light is, I'm gonna scream. And my dad is like walking past me all the time. I wonder what he thinks I'm doing. I'm sorry, I'm so distracted. And yeah, this just continues the story of him being a demon slayer. I think now he goes on his first mission in this one. Yes. So it's so weird because I watched the anime. I think in the anime they use a long time really developing and like going really slow with certain storylines, but here they're just going forward. So like I'm already a lot of episodes into the anime and the manga, and I think it's weird how quickly they went here compared to the anime. I would think it would be opposite, but I think it's still like super fun. Of course, I think both are fun, and I think it's really fun to read it. Oh yeah, now we're in the middle of an insane battle, which was insane in the anime too, just saying. So yay. Can my dad please stop walking back and forth? That's all I'm gonna say. I then read Lost Book of the White by Cassandra Clare and Wesley Chu. This one is the second book in the... what's it called? What's like the series called? The Eldest Curses is said on the side. Thank you. First book was The Red Scrolls of Magic, which came out last year, which I absolutely adored. And I adore this one too. I don't think I like this as much as the first one. I didn't even say what it was about. So the first book is set in between the third and fourth book of the Mortal Instruments series. This one is set like after the Mortal Instruments series, when they have gotten their first kid, but not the second one. So it follows Malek from the Mortal Instruments series. I forgot to say that. And this one, they go on this mission because portals are being fucked up and like maybe this demon returns. They go to Shanghai to investigate what is going on. And this time they bring like the whole clan, Jace and Clary and Isabel and Simon. In the first one it was basically a lot of Fox and Dan, and here they're all present, and I did enjoy that. But like I kind of also missed the book just being the two of them. But yeah, it's still really interesting. I really think it's interesting the jump in time though, because like if you haven't read the other Shadowhunters books and you only read this series, I feel like you might be very confused. But I don't know who would actually do that. I assume that all the people reading this series has read all of them. But yeah, I adore them. I gave the first one 5 stars, but I did give this 4 because I feel like it didn't impact me as much as the first one, but I still adored it deeply. Yay. Do you see me just running through this so quick because I'm scared the daylight would just disappear and I would turn into a blue smurf? Finally, the next 2 together because they belong together. Reread on audio The Poppy War and The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang. I actually started The Poppy War in the end of September, but I knew I wasn't going to finish it just because I wanted to audiobook, because I'd finished audiobooks on my TBR. But that's beside the point. And yay, I reread these. I actually read The Dragon Republic for the first time in January this year. So like I read it twice in a year and I have no regrets. So The Poppy War, the first book in the series, basically follows Rin, who is a young girl from a southern village in the Nikara Empire, and she does not want to get married to this old dude, so she studies really hard for this exam so she can get into a really prestige school, military school called Synagard or Synagard, because the audiobook narrator changed how she pronounced it from the second to the first book, from the first to the second book I mean, and I got confused of how we were supposed to say it. Either way, she goes there and war basically breaks breaks out. It's not really a spoiler. And there's also magic and shit. Shamanism that I can't say because I cannot deal with words. Point is that I read this for the first time in May last year, and I did enjoy it, but I was very disappointed because I had these certain expectations for it, and the story is like a certain story in the first half, and then it kind of shifts a lot in the second half. And I didn't enjoy that, and I also kind of confused on how a certain thing worked. So I gave it like 3 out of 5 stars. I don't know what was wrong with me. It was like basically a 4-star though, but I gave it 3 because I was like leaning more towards 3. I don't know what was wrong with me. Don't listen to Pat Sandra when I talk about this. I was a liar. I was fake. That was not me. That is a fake Sandra. And then I read Dragon Republic earlier this year in January. I've been talking about this in some of my videos this year, and it's one of my favorites of all time. It is so good. This just takes the story to a new level in insane ways. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. I don't think I can talk about this much without spoiling the first one, but I love it so much. It is like one of the best of all time. And then when I reread this one now in October, I just appreciate everything so much more. Forget everything I said about it. But yeah, I 5 stars to this one now. 5 stars to this one. It's one of my favorite series of all time. And actually, while filming this, I am currently reading The Burning God that just came out, and I'm not okay. So that will be my November wrap up. I'm being blinded by the lights, and I cannot deal with how I cannot deal with this series. R.F. Kuang is just like one of the most amazing authors ever, and I will read anything she writes for the rest of my life. That's all I gotta say. But yay, that's what I got to say about this series. Everything you heard about it is true. It is actually so amazing. I actually think it is. That's what I got to say about that. I then read Beastars Volume 3 by Paru Itagaki. This one is a manga and an anime, but I only watched like 1 episode, following Legoshi, who is a wolf, and in this world everyone is animals. So they basically act like humans, but they're animals and have animal issues because they are not eating each other anymore. So the predators that used to eat the prey, basically, like the small animals, I'm not eating them anymore. So there's this whole conflict between them, and we have Legoshi, who is like supposedly one of the biggest predators, but he's actually a softball. A lot of things happen. Like in the first one, someone was killed, one of the preys, but we don't know who was killed, and there's this drama club and they set up a play, and now on we explored some really much more darker themes and places in this world. I'm not gonna spoil it, but I'm really enjoying it. I was so shocked actually how it went in the 3rd volume. I always think it's also really hard to talk about manga, since like as you go on it's really hard to talk about it without like spoiling anything. I really enjoyed how dark it is turned, and I'm like enjoying this series so much, so very excited to continue it. I then read The Silver Serpents by Roshni Chakshi. This one is the 2nd book in the Gilly Wolf series, so this one just came out in September, and yay, look at me picking up new releases at once. Who even am I? What to say about this series? Oh my god, my brain is just like, what happened? This always happens in the middle of my wrap-ups. I'm just like in their panic, like what was even going on. So it follows different characters, different point of views, and it's basically them doing a heist in the first one to find these artifacts, and they're all like different interactions, and some are together, and some are friends, and some are besties, and some are not friends. I don't know how to. That is the worst analysis ever. People have been comparing it to Six of Crows, but I definitely think it has a much more different feel than Six of Crows. I'm not saying that either one is bad, I'm just saying that they're really different. So I don't think you should expect like the lightness and quirkiness of Six of Crows in here. It's definitely a bit harder, like harsher, I would say, in a different way, and a bit more elegant maybe, but like that is weird words to describe a book. Either way, in this one they are still trying to find a thing they were trying to find in the first book. How to even talk about this? And all the characters and their relationships develop, and I don't know how to talk about this without spoiling it, but I'm really enjoying it. Roshni Chakshi is one of my favorite authors. I love her so much, and yay, they are hunting and looking for things, and all the characters, and it's really painful. And also this series ended like on it was big. It ended on a bang, and I'm scared, but I'm also like, it's a kind of bang that I kind of like. I don't know how to describe it. There's a kind of trope that like has happened several times in different books I read, and it's not like I hate it, but I'm just like, wasn't necessary, but the author wants us to suffer, so I'm fine. And of course I will continue reading it, and I think it has beautiful writing and interesting worlds, and yay, it is fun. Okay, I don't know what more to tell you. I think I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Basically, I always give everything 4 out of 5 stars. It seems like if I'm unsure, if I have like a bit unsure feeling, I always give it 4, because I cannot give it 5 unless it's the Pop War, apparently. But as you can see with the Pop War, just saying that you can change your mind on the series. Like, I enjoyed the Pop War, I didn't hate it or anything, but reading the second book just changed everything for me. So that is why I don't give up series, because you never know where the author is going without, I don't know, finishing the series. Of course, everyone can decide for themselves what they want to do, but I just mean like seeing just one half of a story you can judge it from that, of course, but it's also like things can shift a lot, and the things that have meaning in the first book can mean something entirely else later. And that is why finishing up series is like can be so impactful of how you feel overall later. That was my point. At least that's what happened to me when I read Silver Serpents. No, not Silver Serpents, the Path of War. I am so, yeah. The next one I read was Monstrous, Volume 3 Haven by Marjorie Liu and Sam Takeda. This one follows this girl Micah Hufflepuff, who basically has this big monster god thing inside of her, and she's trying to figure out like what the fuck, why is it there, what does it want. There's also a war breaking out between the like humans and half animal humans and different things. I'm kind of confused. It has beautiful art. I will admit that there's so many different, what's it called, sections, sides. It's so many different sides of the war, so many different places, and even though we can see them all because, you know, it's a comic, I'm still confused of who is who and who is siding with who, because there's so many. Either I'm an idiot or this is too smart for me. It's either of those things. I am still really enjoying it. It looks amazing, it's awesome, it has great characters, and yeah, it's great. I give it 4 out of 5 stars. I think I give everything 4 out of 5 stars. Apparently that's, yeah, what does even star ratings mean? Who knows? I then read The Faithless Hawk by Margaret Owen. This one also was released earlier this year. This is the final book in the Merciful Crow duology. So this one is the second one. I read the first one last year and I really enjoyed that one. I like had an arc of it, and I even have a full review on my channel, but don't watch that just because it's probably cringe. But yeah, this is the second book. The first book follows Fia, who is like a crow, and they are like on the lowest of the, what's it called, of the gift people. They all have like different gifts. Why am I so confused? It's like on the top there are for example the phoenixes, and they have fire as a gift. It's not even called gift, it's called something else, but now my brain cannot remember. And the crows don't have any gifts, but they can eat or burn toots if they are like a crow witch from the other bird ranges to get their abilities. They also are immune against this plague that kills other ones, so they like have a responsibility to go around and help people with the plague, but people hate them and look down on them. It's basically her fighting to get the rights for her people, and also the prince and like his bodyguard join the crew for a little while in the first book because they are running away because people try to kill them. So yeah, she helped them there. And yeah, that's basically what's happening. That was a really bad explanation because when I read a book, I don't know how to explain it to other people. But point is, this was really fun. There was things happening here that was kind of like, I would say, a bit cheesy. It was kind of very expected. I was a bit like, really? But I had fun with it. I really do like the concepts of this world, like the burning of tooth, and like the different abilities they had, and like the things that came into revelation in this one. It was a fun one. It's not like the best ever, it's not the worst ever, but I would definitely recommend it for a fun YA series if you want one. It's definitely, I think, different in like the world building at least, and I think that was really interesting for me. Characters were fun too. It was just the path was a bit like, okay. So yeah, I don't even remember what I rated this. I think I gave it 4 stars, but I might possibly with 3 because of certain things that happened that I was like, really? Also, I think the light here has changed like 5 billion times while filming this. I then read Fan Striking Distance by Sarah Reese Brennan. This one is a novel, the first Fans novel, based on the Fans comic by C.S. Pacat. So this one is written by Sarah Reese Brennan, but of course based on a comic with like, of course, permission and everything. She was hired to write this, and it follows our main characters from Fans, which is a comic, if you didn't know. I don't think you have to read the comics to read this one, but it definitely has much more impact on you because then you know the characters or what is going on. And yay, so I would say this story doesn't have like that much of a plot. It's basically about them just bonding and developing the relationships between all of them and their romance. I'm gonna cry. It was so good. It was so, I mean, not trash, just maybe the wrong word, but it was so like, so much pining, so much bad miscommunication, like the really typical YA tropes, like, can they just talk to each other? No, they cannot, and ruin everything. That was what they had here, and I loved it. It was so good. I was screaming because it was so good. It was everything I wanted in a novel based on the Fans comics, and I just adored it to death. They are so big idiots. They're like the biggest idiots I have ever read about, and I love it. I adore it. So if you read the Fans comics, please read this one. If you haven't, please pick up the Fans comics or even this. It's so queer, so hilarious. They are like the biggest idiots on the planet. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, I gave this 5 out of 5 stars because that is how much I enjoyed it. That is like a purely enjoyment rating because it made me so happy. Now I'm getting blue and that happiness was worth 5 stars. And that's what I got to say about that. Yay! I then read League of Legends Zed, which is a comic based on the Zed character from the game League of Legends. They collabed with Marvel, so this is the 3rd one in that collab. We have Ashe and Lux as well. I have read those and I love them. League of Legends is my favorite game. Reading is my favorite hobby. Those two together was perfect collaboration in my opinion. I have never played really Zed because I don't like him. I don't like to play him. I like to play against him. I just want him gone. But yeah, we had other characters too. We had Jin and Akali and Shen and Kane, so different characters from the game, and all of them are paired. And this was so good, by the way. I learned so much about the characters that I didn't know. It was so fun to be in this world and see these characters, how they interacted, and there was freaking plot twists in here that I did not expect. And I'm kind of like familiar with the lore since, you know, I've been playing the game for a really long time, but this was so enjoyable. I did not expect it to be this good. Like, I enjoyed the other ones a lot, but I think actually this one I had the most fun with to read, even though I don't like, for example, Zed as much as like a character to play in the game itself. I enjoyed to read about it as a character much more. I actually ended up giving this 5 out of 5 stars because it was so good and it had like these plot twists that I did not expect, and it was good and it was soft and it was murderous and scary. So yeah, I had all the things to enjoy. Very excited to see what the next comic will be, or even if it will come more, because I'm not sure. So if anyone knows, please tell me. I don't know how long I've been filming, but for some reason I'm already almost done because we are at the last book already. Either I was very quick or I didn't have that much to talk about. We have The Visible Life of Adaline by V. Schwab. This one is V. Schwab's newest release that came in October, adult fantasy standalone. It follows Addie LaRue, who goes into the deal with the devil to live forever but is forgotten by everyone she meets. And then one day, 300 years later, a boy remembers her name. That is what it basically is about. That is like the tagline of the whole book, I feel like. Not the tagline, but like the short synopsis you can give. And I think it's a really good one. I think like you don't need to say more about it plot-wise. And yay, we follow Addie and we follow her in flashbacks, for example, seeing what she went through in the beginning of her curse, because it is a curse, and I think it's a really interesting curse to read about. And I think it was interesting to read about Addie's experiences as well. Writing is also completely and utterly beautiful. It's beautiful writing. You just sink into it, and I really enjoyed the story and enjoyed Addie. And there was plot twists with why this boy remembers her name. It wraps up the whole story as well, since, you know, it's a standalone. And I was close to giving it 5 stars because it gave me this wonderful magical feeling, but it also had just some tiny flaws that like I could not like go away from, and thereby became a 4 stars. But I still really enjoyed it, and I was not let down by it. I think it has had mostly a positive reception, but I think some people have also been like, meh, not for me, and that's totally fine. I can see why this wouldn't be for certain people, but I just like had some small things where I'm just like, this is kind of weird. Like, for example, I think that bothered me is that Addie like wants to experience the world, and an impression I got is that she stays in one place for the first 100 years of her life, and I'm just like, hello, leave that place and go experience somewhere else. I don't know, I guess she felt safe there. At least that's, if I read the book correctly, that was one of the things that like didn't click with me. How there's no mention kind of other people in a book. It's only Addie that is the focus here, and we don't like mention any minorities, or like she says she has seen things come and go and fall and everything, but there's no mention of like other problems in the world kind of. And I feel like if you live this long, that should have an impact on you, but it doesn't. And I feel like also that can be kind of strange, but that is like if you think really deeply on it. I don't know how to say it. Of course you're supposed to think about books from outside and think about them critically, etc. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that as a story alone, if you don't think about like other aspects, I guess it's beautiful, and don't deny that at all. And it's like a story with impact about the thing of forgetting, about the thing of feeling. What is a life? How do you live? It's like it has so many themes in it that I think is very interesting. And as I said, it's a beautiful story, but it also has aspects that I wish the author could have taken in, but also I understand why maybe it weren't taken in, because that's not the story. The story is Addie's story, but it's also like, I don't know, too much Addie maybe for some. That is my thoughts, I guess. My incoherent thoughts that I can never actually share properly. Yay! I don't know what more to say. I could have long discussions about this, and I feel like I maybe sounded very negative here, but overall I did like really enjoy this. I almost like loved it completely, but there were small things that I kept in mind, but overall it was very good, very beautiful, and I would definitely reread it. And I owe way too many copies of this. In my next haul you're gonna scream at me, I'm sure. I don't know what more to say than that about Addie. I feel like I could, as I said, talk about it for a long time, but we're gonna leave it here because I'm gonna go. The lights, it basically went away. Like I'm kind of blue now, so it's fine, but I made it. And thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed my finally here October wrap up, and yeah, hopefully November wrap up will, if my plans go in life as I want them to, but who knows what happens in life, will be up very soon. So like too close to this than it should be. That's the point. Bye.